All right, what's up, Tornado Squad? We are back, episode 63.
With a very special guest.
Very, very special guest. He is an AP economics teacher.
The varsity soccer coach.
And the 2024 state champion coach. Coach Cush, thank you for being on the podcast with us.
Thanks so much for having me. It's an honor.
Yep. So, Coach Cush, have you been kind of prepped and know about some of the games we play here on the show?
Oh, I do not know about the games.
Cool. That's good. So I know you can go give him the instructions for quick fire.
So one of the games we play is called quick fire.
Yep.
And quick fire is basically a game where we're just going to ask you a number of questions, and your goal is to answer them as fast as you can.
All right.
Okay. No, you started off.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Yes, I would have prepared. As you know, Marvin, I prepare for all the things.
Yeah, that's the
no
thing.
preparation.
Yeah,
all right,
yeah,
we gotta.
we need quick.
We gotta fire from the
quick
hip.
responses.
Here we go.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite soccer position?
Center mid.
Best dining hall food.
Pesto chicken.
Go-to pizza toppings?
Meat.
Favorite soccer team.
Ours.
Ooh. I like that. I like that. And I got one more question. Favorite hole in the wall. Kind of like underground restaurant in Chattanooga that no one knows about.
That no one knows about.
Yeah. Kind of put the viewers on.
Bakasha.
Oof. I don't even know what that is.
It's great food. It's not hole in the wall. It's a nice restaurant, but like a lot of people don't know about it.
Yeah.
But their big thing, and I don't know if they still do it, is you get to eat for free on your birthday there.
What?
It's nice.
What?
It's a nice place.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll keep
you
that
take
in
a date to
mind.
Bakasha. It's definitely
Yeah. See, I'm gonna take a date there and don't tell her that you eat free on your birthday.
Yeah.
So on her birthday, she thinks, I got a big baller. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
But no, hey, that was really good. But our first question we're gonna get into is a little bit more of a serious question.
Yeah.
How did you end up on McCallie? I know you've been here for a while. You've been a dominant head coach, a great teacher. But how did it all start? Coming from where you started and then end up on McCallie and being such a lasting and long impact.
Yeah. So I graduated college and worked for my college for a year doing admissions and enjoyed that, but was working really, really hard and just thought, man, if I'm going to work this hard, I want to be able to make money that's commensurate with that. And so I ended up starting a construction company with a friend of mine and did that for a couple of years and loved it. Loved being a small business owner, loved doing that stuff. But I realized it wasn't where my heart was. And I'm competitive. I love to teach. I love to interact with people. And I want to make a difference and decided I want to be in education. And so this is in 2006. I was like, man, what I would really love to do would be teaching some business classes and living on campus and being a head coach at McCallie. That's what I would really want to do.
Yeah.
And so I came and I actually taught kindergarten and second grade at Crew Brock's house on Lookout Mountain for a bunch of little kids.
Wow.
And applied. I came and volunteered here as an assistant coach.
Okay.
Just to kind of get my foot in the door. There were no openings here. And so someone said, hey, you should apply at GPS. And I was like, man, I don't think I'm going to go from running a construction company to
an all-girls school.
An all-girls school. Yeah. But I went and I visited and fell in love.
Yeah.
It was a great place, great school. I was there at their chapel and Terps Accord was performing and I was just so impressed. And so applied there, ended up getting a job at GPS. I taught math for a year there. And that was kind of 07, 08, financial collapse. And GPS was shrinking and McCallie was hiring. Yeah. And so switched from there after a year and then have been here ever since. So fall of 08 was my first year here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Dang.
Yeah.
Quite a story for sure.
And for 18 years ago was here's what I really want to do with my life and here's where I am and I'm doing it. And I'm glad to be doing it.
Yeah.
I love it.
What is it about McCallie that keeps you coming back every year?
Man, that's a great question. So many things. First, I love the opportunity to work with people who care. Marvin, you've seen me in class and on the soccer field. I love to be with people who care.
Yeah, extremely passionate.
So there's boys here who care. There are parents here who care. There are other teachers here who care. There are administrators here who care. And so I'm like, I got one life to live. I want to go make the most of it. I want to do something. And so to be in a culture where it's like, hey, we're trying to do something. We're trying to be uncommon is great. That is one of the things that definitely draws me to it. I'd say two is the culture of, it's good people. It's be a good person. Yeah. And so you can be cool at McCallie if you play the violin or are in drama or play football or being cool here means you be a good person.
Yeah.
work hard and find something that you're passionate about, and then treat people with kindness. And I don't know, I think the perception that people might have of like, what's an elite all boys boarding school going to be like? And whatever negative assumptions you would have about that, I just feel like it's the opposite of what this place is like.
True.
It's good people, good culture, good character. And so I love it.
Yeah, I feel like that's what a lot of people experience, especially when they finally like take a tour of campus and like actually speak to some of the students that have graduated and some of the students that are still here. Like boarding school is not like this big punishment thing anymore. Yeah, I feel like it's like a huge opportunity now. Yeah,
I feel like that's the common consensus. Anytime I tell anyone that, oh yeah, I go to boarding school, they're like, do your parents hate you?
Yeah, like what did you do wrong at home? And it's like kind of crazy because like we have people like you and a lot of other teachers that genuinely care about us and our well-being. And I feel like, boarding school has gotten this bad stigma when actually you're just getting put into a closer knit family, I feel like. So yeah, I mean that's super cool. But we're gonna switch to that passion.
Yeah. Do you have any dreams? I'm just curious of starting your own school one day or anything like that.
Ooh, I have not thought about that. That has not been a dream of starting my own school. I think I love the opportunity to be here. So one of the things, running my own construction company, you realize that being at the top of something is hard.
Yeah.
And so I had a lot of my friends work for me, and they had a lot of opinions about how we should do things. And one of the things I committed to there is I was like, man, wherever I end up as an employee, I'm going to be a great employee.
Yeah.
Because I know leading is hard.
Yeah.
And it does take all your effort and all the time. And so I think at any workplace, it can be easy to look up and be upset with what your bosses are doing or this or that. And I think I just have a ton of respect for Sumner and Lee and Kenny, everybody who's above me and the work they do to help this place be great. And if there's things I think we can improve, then I go, and how do I be part of improving that? How do I make the process better? But I don't, I wouldn't say I have like, oh man, I need to go start and do my own.
Yeah.
The Cush school.
Yeah.
It hasn't been on my mind.
Yeah. But talking about being a good employee, I feel like you've been a great employee with that soccer team.
Absolutely.
I know coming into this season, you were ranked number 1. And for you guys that don't know, being ranked number 1 is not only a hard accomplishment, but it's very, very, very highly prestigious. But it does put a target on your back. Absolutely. And coming in, losing a lot of seniors as well, how did you kind of refocus your team and kind of encourage the guys to be ready to take on like not only the challenge of the soccer season, but the challenge of being like a top-rated soccer team?
Yeah, in the decade that I've done this, you're McCallie, and so you always are going to have a target on your back some.
Yep.
But this year has been unique, coming off of being, number 1 in the country last year, and then starting this season ranked number 1. And I just hear it. I hear it in pregame. I hear our opponents, how pumped they are. Yep. Every time something goes well for an opponent during a game, they're freaking out about it. Like, oh, this is what it's like.
Yep.
Like to get everybody's best shot.
Yep.
And so, how do we get this group ready for this year? I mean, part of it was trying to help the guys find a desire for that. Because if you're like, oh man, we're going to get everybody's best shot, and I'm a little bit afraid of that. Like, what do we do? Then that's challenging because you don't want to be on the back foot. You want to be on the front foot. And so, I'm a big Colorado guy. My grandpa went to CU. Had season tickets growing up as a kid. I went and watched them win the Orange Bowl when I was like 9 years old, national champions in 19. Like I love some CU. And so Prime has been
big
great for CU. And so last year our stole from Prime was We Coming.
Yeah.
And it was the way we played and it was what we were about. And this year the kind of motto to the group was like, I ain't hard to find, which is one of Prime's things. And it's like, hey, if you want to test yourself, if you want to come play against the best, if you want that, then like, here we are.
Yeah.
Come on. Like, I ain't hard to find. Like, you want to come find out, you want to measure yourself, like, we're ready. Like, come on. And to try to embrace that. And I think largely the guys have.
Yeah.
They've said, we want people's best shot. We want people coming for us, and have responded to that. When I made our schedule this year, the last set of rankings, we had the hardest strength of schedule of anybody in the top 25 in the country. To play who we've played. And that doesn't even include the preseason games, Bearden and Station Camp, but other great opponents. And I was like, man, we might be 0-7. We're playing a lot of great teams. And so to start the way we've started has been a gift and a testimony to these guys for starting their own legacy and building their own thing.
Very true. Very true.
What are some traits that make you a great coach?
Yeah.
Thanks for that. The statement in that question.
No.
I appreciate that. What do I care? like I care about all the details. And so I was really blessed. I came across a book called The Messiah Method about Messiah soccer up in Pennsylvania. And they've won so many national championships. And I reached out to their coaches and was like, hey, look, like I want to understand how you do what you do. And, would you be willing to talk to me about it? And the guy who was the head coach was like, well, sure, if you want to come visit, knowing that like lots of people probably reach out, but like
Never stand on it and come and visit. Yeah.
who's going to come to Grantham, Pennsylvania and go whatever. And so I reached out to their former head coach. I talked to him a while, but then I was like, hey, I'm going to come visit. I got McCallie to give me a couple days off. And I went and told him, I was like, hey, I'm going to be up there for a week.
Yeah.
And whenever I can meet with you, I want to meet with you and players and coaches. And I want to watch your film. And I probably watched 200 hours of film, and then I did all the things. And when I got up there, he's like, first of all, like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, like, who cares this much to come do this?
Yeah.
But I could tell they had something that was special. And being there around their culture, they have a level of detail that they do things in that was huge for me. And I'd grown up, had great coaches and was a successful player myself, but I did not have any sense of what the detail of the game could be until I had that experience. And it gave me a big hunger for that. And so I think, walking away from that, it was like, man, how do I make sure we do every little thing that we can do well? And so, we added the futsal program, and we work on how we turn and how we throw the ball in and every little detail we take care of. And I see the sum of those things add up. So I think that's one big thing that's been successful is passion and caring about the details. And then two, I think trying to create the right culture.
Yeah.
And when guys buy in, when guys want to be good teammates, when guys want to be coachable, when guys want to, live out our core values, it makes them better teammates and it makes them more resilient. And I think those two things were big. When the first season in 2015, when we took over, and the big thing I'll say is like, if you're like, what has made me a successful coach is my assistants.
Yeah.
And so Moses, Drummond, especially at the top of that list, who's been with me the entire time. But we have, a goalkeeper coach who, Gene, the last 2 years been a professional goalkeeper, and Fareed working with the defenders, who's a current professional player, and, Louis, a college head coach, and Logan, who has national team caps. And we've got this great staff of people that are helping us get the details right of that. And so I think those things go a long way. And when our staff took over in 2015, it was we went from being 9-7-3 the year before to 16-1-1, and we were ranked, I think, third in the country at one point that season. And it was like, man, how did things turn around? Yeah. And what the guys on the team said was culture. And they felt like, man, they really believed, they bought in, they cared for each other, they did those things. And that we played a system that they really understood and they got the nuances and details of, and that just made a huge difference for them as players. And the year before, they had 0 players who made honorable mention all conference. And the next year we had 5 guys get first team all state.
Wow.
And so what we saw was the progression of players when they understood what they were supposed to do and what it was supposed to look like and got in the right roles that they could thrive. But again, a huge amount of that. Like if it was just me, we're not getting there.
Yeah.
Like Mo and all the other people that you've experienced have made a huge difference.
Yep.
I can't imagine the pressure leading up to the state game last year. So I'm just curious, what did those last couple practices look like?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, last spring was just so fun. I mean, every day was fun. And it starts with guys like Brandon Matherin, who just did everything right every day and was coachable, and whatever you asked him to do, he tried to do, and he led well and people respect him, and Dylan and how hard he worked. And we had great leaders last year. And so the culture was good. And I think because our motto was we coming, and it was just, we are always stepping forward and we are coming after you and we are bringing it. That feeling was just there. And so I never felt nervous. I don't think the guys really felt nervous because it wasn't, we were protecting a ranking or we were worried about losing. It was like, we're coming to take something.
Yeah.
And man, being in that space is just always better. And so it was a good vibe. It was a good vibe leading up to practice. We had great practices. Everything was working. And man, last year too, God, everybody did their role, right? So Elliot Arnold, like, hey man, I'll bang in free kicks for you. And Friars, I mean, just every guy did their thing, and they knew if I do my thing, it's going to help us out. And So it was good. That was the energy
Yeah.
coming into it.
Yeah.
Let me do my job.
Yeah, that's really good, especially when you're having a lot of fun. I feel like success is always something that's going to come after, when it's not like pressure. But kind of talking about all the success now, like, how do you feel you can improve as a coach? Doing it since 2015, having so much success in your first season and continuing that success even now, like going into the season with the #1 ranking. Like, what do you look at to say, hey, like, me as a coach, having this great coaching staff, what can I do better to put this team on the next level?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I know some things that I'm not great at. And one of the things I'm trying to do is say less.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do I say what I'm wanting to say in fewer words? And so as a coach, if I can do that, that's big. Two, I want to keep working to enable other people to lead. So my assistants to have more control of stuff, for the seniors to have more control of stuff. I know how I want things done, and I know what that looks like, and I know I'm going to do it with the excellence that I want it done. But part of being a great leader is getting other people to get on that vision, and other people to lead, and other people to step up. And we'll be better as a program when I can help more people lead.
Yep.
So that's another piece. I think one of the ways I'm trying to grow too as a coach is just making sure that we continue to play a system that matches our personnel.
Yep.
And so we play as differently night and day different brands of soccer this year as last year, because I think we're trying to fit our personnel. And so, trying to get that piece so we can find the right mix.
Yeah. That's more analytical than I thought the answer would have been, for sure.
I'm just, as a coach, you have big wins, you have big losses, you have great seasons, you have tough seasons. How do you just stay persistent and keep going no matter what the outcome is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good question, for sure. I think one of the things that I try to encourage my students to do is, like, do something you love. And I talk to people and they're like, oh man, like, oh, it's Monday, and they're, or like, oh man, Friday is coming. Yes, I'm so happy. And I'm just like, I don't know, man. I wake up every day and I'm happy to be in that day. So if that's a Saturday and I'm doing more things with my kids or what, like, that's great. But if it's Tuesday and I love what I do. I love teaching. I love coaching. So one thing that allows me to keep doing what I do with passion is, like, I love what I do. And so, having a job and career that aligns with who I am is big. Two is, like, man, I'm real competitive. I hate losing and I love winning. And so, what we do is public. It's, most people, your job isn't public. The product of it isn't in the newspaper. It's not in front of tons of people. And so, yeah, man, I'm competitive and I want to win and I want to be successful. And and there's always another step to go. I would say I think post 2020, I went through a little. It was hard. We were #1 in the country in 2020 when the pandemic hit, and that was I think probably the best team we ever had. And people knew, like, this was going to be our, like, national #1 year, and to have that go away was hard. And I kind of wondered, are we ever going to get back there? Or is that just a once in a career kind of thing?
Yeah.
And so getting back, doing it last year was really, really special. And I think it's made me hungry to be like, all right, let's do it again.
Yeah. I feel like with all of that hunger and that drive, like, how is a college a college team not snatch you up and kind of taking you away, like, with so much success? Like, what keeps making you, like, what's the differences between, like, high school and college that keeps you still with the high school team rather than going on to, like, a college team and making a push for, like, a NCAA title or something like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would rather be here. McCallie is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, this is where I want my kids to grow up, and this is where I want David to go to school, and I love Hope's going to be at GPS next year, and like, I love that, and I get to work with amazing kids. I just to find a situation that's better than what I have here, like, I don't know, maybe there would be to other people, but I love what I do here. It's fun and it's a great place to be, and McCallie being what it is has kept me here, and it's hard for me to imagine going somewhere else. I had a friend who was running a search committee a couple of years ago, pursued me to be their head of school, and talked to him about it and looked into it. And there's a lot of things that felt attractive about it. And at the end of the day, I'm like, I'd rather be doing what I'm doing. I love being here. I really do.
Yeah. I feel like we're really special and thankful to have you, especially the soccer team.
Well, I think you look at the other piece too. when you choose, to be in education or things like that, it's like, all right, what else could I be doing, right? And I could go be in business, go be in law, go be in whatever else, and so you look around, and I look at Jeff Clark. I'm like, there's somebody that I respect, admire, and think the world of. You know what that guy's doing? Same thing I'm doing.
Yeah, great coach.
I'm like, if it's good enough for Jeff Clark, man, it's good enough for me.
Yeah.
And so when I look around and see the other great people here and Rodney Stoker, I'm all like the wonderful people who are here doing this. I'm like, great. That's a group of people I want to be.
Yeah.
I want to be associated with.
Yeah. Do you see the young Coach Cushenberry in your players at all?
Yeah.
Tell me more.
like, do you feel like when you look out on the pitch, you're like, man, I could see young Kush going through there. You
or
know
like the way they may react to a certain call or their intensity or their drive?
The challenge, me as a player versus me as a coach, was really different. And so not in the competitive side, because I was always competitive, but I mean, like, as a player, I would be like, so my first year starting in high school, I was smaller and a little slower than people and whatever. And so I would, if I was going up against some really strong winger, the first time he got the ball in his half of the field, I would just crunch him, just big foul to try to like let this dude be like, oh man, this guy's gonna be here. I'm gonna try to slow him down a little bit. Like he's got his ankle's hurting a little bit, or so I'm gonna come after somebody. As a coach, like I would never encourage my players to do that. Like I'm like, that's assault. Like I'm not gonna go tell a kid to go tackle some other kid hard. And so as a coach, I definitely try to keep my players from doing some of the things that, I'd be out there talking trash and all those kind of things. And like, as a coach, I'm like, nah, man, how about this? Like, my goal is that we win every game. And at the end of every game, with the exception of the opponents who are never going to do this, your opponent goes, hey man, it was a privilege to play against you guys. Like, I hope you guys go and win it all and win a state championship. And we'd rather make fans. And I think we've done that a lot over the last 10 years. Like we win games and people are like, hey, it was fun to play you guys. You guys play a great brand of soccer and you're good people and you don't talk trash and you do these things. And that's what I want to build. And that's something better than what I modeled when I was young Kush with his floppy hair when I was 18. Didn't necessarily do it as well then.
Yeah.
And yes, do I see our players like be young and immature sometimes? Yeah, they're boys.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that's what you get as a coach, like that full like 360 view now, like kind of taming the inner beast of like what you had in that fire. But I have to tip my hats to coaches. Like I feel like me now, it might be different because I'm still in sports, but like I could never like sit back. Like I think I'd be so anxious and so jumpy just watching like my athlete do something, like after all the hard work, like I just want to be up there with them. But maybe my perspective might change once I'm completely done with all my sports.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of the things I have said to parents over the years, whatever, is like it's a pretty stupid person who puts their professional success in the hands of teenage boys. Like it's not it is definitely a stressful thing to do, to say, whether or not I seem good at my job and whether or not I'm successful is how well do teenage boys listen to me and the things I tell them to do in moments of extreme stress.
Yeah.
And parents sort of recognize like, oh yeah, I tell my son things all the time that he doesn't listen to.
Yeah.
And that is challenging. And so yes, it's a little bit crazy and it is a little stressful to have your professional success in the hands of boys.
Yeah.
And yet, hey, we gotta
been
get our
pretty
excitement
well.
somewhere. So
Yeah.
But talking about that trust and, just that impactfulness of being a teacher, being a coach, our final question that we ask a lot of the students, but also ask teachers is, a freshman coming into McCallie that probably won't have that much contact with you, probably, you might bump into, may get to know their name, but they look back onto this podcast and are able to listen to your response to this question. What is one piece of advice that you would give them to start off their McCallie career?
Yeah. If not you, then who? And there's lots of problems in the world. And if we look out politically, if we look economically, if just whatever it is, we can look and see there's lots of problems. And it's not hard for you guys to look and see the way that adults are handling things well. And they're not. I mean, adults are fighting with each other and calling each other names and tearing each other down. And it's not productive. It's not helpful. And so we need people who are going to change the world, right? We need people who are going to be very intelligent and know how things work, and people who are wise and understand the unintended consequences that happen. We need people who are willing to change their mind, because we're wrong. I mean, there's things I think right now that are wrong. And like, if I'm just stubborn and I just think what I think all the time, like that's not going to be helpful. Yeah. And so I need to be willing to change my mind. We also need to be able and willing to change other people's minds. Like, it's no good to look at someone who disagrees with you and be like, well, you don't agree with me, so don't talk to me anymore. Get out of my circle. Like, I don't want to make enemies. I want to, if I'm right about something, man, let's get people on board with that, right? And if I'm wrong, I want to get on board with what you're doing. And so, man, who's going to do that? Who's going to bring people together? Who's going to have the character necessary to make hard decisions and the right things and make the world a better place? If it's not people who grew up in an environment, a school that says honor, truth, duty, who have tons of great mentors and role models, who have the opportunity for world-class education, who have a great alumni network and are connected. If it's not supposed to be you, yeah, like who are you counting on to change the world? And so my hope for every McCallie man is they get this idea of like, if not you, then who? Wow. And find places where you say, look, yeah, I've been given a lot. I want to make a difference. And you're going to go to all different things. It might be in swimming. It might be in politics. It might be in business. It might be whatever. But pick up that piece of trash. Have the hard conversation. Do the thing to change the world. And I think it's easy to just kind of go through life and just do what you're doing and not realize that, like, man, people are counting on you. But your future self is counting on you. Your kids are counting on you. I'm counting on you. The world's counting on you guys to go make a difference.
Well, I wish I heard that freshman year.
Yeah,
like,
for real.
I would have been a completely different student, I feel like. But wow, that was wow. Yeah. I think that was a really good podcast, guys. I think we should clap it up for Coach Cushenberry. Thank you so much, Coach, for being on with us.
I've watched you swim. I've watched you play soccer. I've watched you in class. Like, you're as good as a podcast host as you are at any of those other things.
I appreciate that.
You guys, the professional level you guys did this at is impressive to me.
Thank you. But Coach, just thank you for just being a great mentor, great teacher, and foremost, a great McCallie man and mentoring a lot of the younger generation to continue to do what you said, change the world.